5, 16, 19, 21, 30, 3 and 10. Check results. You remember?
Welcome back to Pod a Day. No, not 18, got it wrong already. 95. Pod a Day keeps the doctor away. There you go. And look at me. Am I not just a beaming beacon of health? Trust me. This, bowel cancer, listen to one of these. Tonsillitis, listen to one. I went from bowel cancer to tonsillitis. I probably should have kept in the tonsillitis range just to keep things, lighthearted and fun. Don't know why I started off with cancer of the bowels, but here we are. Honestly, today's one of those days we just want to get through this. ASAP, Rocky, ASAP, ASAP. Quickly. Just tired, hungry, so hungry, because in France, weird thing, on a Sunday, shops close earlier. That's just a thing. I'm pretty sure it's pretty universal for most places in the world. But usually, even in England, London at least, on a Sunday, shops will close earlier, but it's like 5:30. I got up at I didn't get up at 1, but I was about 1, I was about to head out. No food, needed food. Which is a horrible experience having to even go buy stuff when you're just in there, and then it's when I walk around in London, right, just to go pick something up, no one will even stare at you for a split second, and if they do, they'll look away in shame, right? So no one ever speaks to you basically in person. And I don't know if it's a French thing or I'm just getting unlucky, but the amount of people who will just start speaking to you, and you have to be like, oh no, désolé, je ne parle pas français, I don't know. I can't speak the language. So it just becomes very, I just want to walk in, tap my cards, take the food, walk out. So basically I didn't eat all yesterday, pretty much, because the shops were closed and I just had no choice. I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm starving. Over exaggeration, but you know what I'm trying to say. Look at me, I'm gaunt already. So if I don't put food into this body, on top of that, I will die. And then today, I was going to go shops first thing, but then I thought I want to go check some stuff out, take some photos. I don't want to be lugging around shopping the whole time. I don't want to bring it back and then go out again. So I just thought I'll go and do the thing. Just so happened what I wanted to do was go look up this big cathedral thing, which was on top of a hill, which was a fucking trek to get up. I almost collapsed. You're just walking up there, one foot after the other, every single step, whatever. Trying to act like I'm not dying here. But I was dying up here, as the show is called. And I literally stayed there because I'm the type of person, it's like, okay, I'll look at the view for a bit, look at the thing. Guess we're walking down now. Walked down it, and it was just, it was... let me just tell you something. Once you've been when you've exhausted yourself walking up a lot of steps, steep gradient, walking down feels just as hard in a different kind of way. So that's what I'm going to say there. Walked around, did some other stuff, came back, did the shop, just got in, time it will take to cook the food in the oven is shorter than it would take to do this. So I can't even put that on while I'm doing this and it'll be done at the end. It would be burnt like a crisp. So got to do this, then do that. And, as always, looking through Twitter, anything happening in the world. And the only thing I saw, and it actually made me laugh, New York, not a real place. And I see tweets with that title all the time. And it's always, by the way, when it's New York isn't a real place, I swear New York isn't a real place, it's titled that. It's never actually the world of New York. It's the underneath, the subway. It's basically I'm surprised the New York subway is not a real place. Because all the time it's videos and it's on the subway. It was literally, the video starts, you have zero context, which I love. His clothes looks all ripped up and he's lying kind of on the platform, half onto the train, half on the platform, and the video is just recording him very still. Okay, very still. And I'm thinking, did he get caught in the door or something, trying to get off the plane or in the plane, and what's happened to you? You don't really know. You just kind of see him get up and then run off down the thing, and then nothing happens, and you're thinking, okay, I don't know any context of what happened. And then as you try and process, I wonder what's happened there. You see his body getting dragged by its hood by the Michelin Man. I don't know, just some random figure just dragging him along the side. And I don't know what was happening to him. It looked, everything about it's funny. The fact I don't the fact you have no context is what can make it funny. Because like he may have been dragged off to go been killed. I don't know, but nothing looked painful actually in the footage I saw. I don't know where he was dragged to. He was dragged. They could have been just playing. They could have just been mates. Just some guy. There was like, there was no screaming. It wasn't like, ah. It was just getting dragged. It was all really silent. Even down to the recording is funny. Someone just sitting there recording it like it's on a tripod, just really still. The timing of it was perfect comedically with the perfect time it came back across frame. If you're recording something, why would you keep recording? Like if something moves off frame, usually a normal person in real life would just like turn around and keep following whatever's happening. But just to stay completely still here on the door and then for it to come back, it's just like, it's like Gotham. Down in the subway is like Gotham. You're surprised Batman doesn't show up, which is another one of my favorite clips. I always say, you're surprised Nirvana doesn't start playing. The second you get down there, you walk down them steps and you enter that subway. I still haven't used the metro yet, but we'll do. It's race week. If you're into your Formula One, it is race week and it is down under. Aussie Australia. Look forward to that. Hopefully I'll be able to watch it. I should be able to, as long as the Wi-Fi is not playing up. And I hope for the best. I always hope for the best. You know, we can only ever hope for a clean race, for a good race. And yeah, man. As long as the Red Bull doesn't win, I'll be relatively happy. I'll be fairly happy. But until then, guys, look. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all chilling. But I'm just gonna probably make the food. Which, by the way, when I say make the food, I'm not ratatouille. Oh, my bad. My favourite film, and I've even done the faux pas. The rat isn't called Ratatouille. You know how there's that meme like, hey, you know Tame Impala's actually just one guy. Yeah, you know, Tame Impala's one guy. Or like memes like that. You say something. It's like, oh, you know, Will Still hasn't lost a game yet in League or something like that. He has now. Or being like, hey, you know, the Blue Man Group is actually multiple guys. It's not the same group going around the world, you know. My version is, you know, Ratatouille. It's not something you say, hey, you know. But when someone says it, in my head, it's like, do I correct or do I be a normal person and not correct? Because I know what they're talking about and I don't need to be that guy. But the rat isn't called Ratatouille. The rat is called Remy. People always I love that little rat Ratatouille. He's so, and it's like, no, that's the dish. The rat, his name's Remy, and his brother's name's Emile, I think. You know. And I see how you could be confused because people named after foods. Linguini, he's a man. He's a noodly man running around. But no, Ratatouille. That is the food. I just did it myself. But no, I'm not Remy. But if I said no, I'm not. If I said yo, I can't cook, I'm not Remy. I feel like most people would just be like, who's Remy? So you know, Ratatouille. I basically, when I say making food, I mean putting a pizza in the oven. A pizza will take like 7 minutes to cook. It's so cheap. So, that's what I mean when I say want to go cook that food. Watch some shows. I actually have Bad Friends up on my laptop right now. Obviously, I've been saying I've been watching Bad Friends. It's been good. But I've basically caught up now. I've basically finished it, which is a shame. I think right now I'm listening, like, I've probably got about 10 left, which still sounds like a lot. You got 10 full-on podcasts. You know, that's like over 10 hours of content. That's a day for me. There's burps on the inside. That's a day of good watching, good food, and no bad vibes and no work for me. Speaking of work, just to say this real quick, there's no context for this. I'm just going to say this story. It's very short. It's not really interesting. Maybe you can relate. But like, the manager put out the shifts for the week, okay? And I was very happy with the shifts I got. Didn't have to work for a few days from now. I thought, okay, yeah, even more time. I'd just chill out, whatever. I liked the hours. I liked when I started. They were all evenings. I thought, oh yeah, like we're on the same wavelength. He doesn't even speak English, but he knows me. He knows I just want the evenings. Didn't have many days either. I thought that might be a mistake. I'm not gonna say anything. And then the other person who works there was like, actually, do you reckon we could change it to this and do that? because I think I'd prefer this. And you said we didn't have to work these days, and then all of a sudden I got given different shifts, more hours. Something I was just like, I'm just gonna pretend I didn't. Let me say it quieter. I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see that, and I'm just gonna go in for my shifts on the original dates that were put down, because ultimately I think they know I'm a bit of a waste of space, and it's like I don't try or like on purpose to be that way. I've kind of just came to the realization I am just like always seen as like the dead wood in jobs. Like, you know how in school being fast or being good at football is always important. You never want to be picked last, and you kind of really get a glimpse into like where you rank in the world when they do something like that, where it's like the kids are going to pick the teams. Then you see where you rank, because a lot of it is socially. People just pick their friends. A lot of it is people just pick who's good. So if you're picked last, you're neither, right? Or you're disabled, right? So, what was I saying? Something about being picked last. So yeah, the equivalent is I feel like if they had to do that at work, nearly any of my workplaces, even the ones I felt like I did a relatively good job, like I would get my stuff done, I know I was never perceived that way. And I know that if my managers had to like pick a team each of like workers they want on their team for the best efficiency, I know I would be last. And they maybe I would say this to them and they'd be like, no, we just think you're a little bit. But I know for a fact I'd be last. And I think that this is the type of thing, like you work in this place like a few weeks, then you leave. They know it's a bit of like a holiday for you. They just want you to be an extra few hands and stuff or whatever. They're just housing a couple of people that they get to pay like below minimum wage to, and they offer some free hands for a few weeks and just keep doing that throughout the year. So like they know what they're getting, we know what we're getting. No one really cares here, and I think they look at me, they know I'm pretty pointless, and like I genuinely feel like I didn't show up to half my shifts, they wouldn't really care. Like I think if other colleagues of mine didn't bring up to the manager or something, like I was thinking that they wouldn't, I don't think anyone would give a fuck. I'm not going to risk that because it's like, yeah, I might as well just do it. What else am I going to do? Sit here watching Bad Friends? But I know for a fact I'm just going to go into the original shifts on the rota, which means I'll miss a day I was meant to be on this new rota, and I guarantee no one will say anything. I'll just show up, I'll be in there. My other colleagues on my level will be like, hey, did you not see the new rota? And I'll say, no, I didn't see it. If anyone sees this, which by the way, I don't know how, it would be terribly bad luck if someone who works there saw this, because 6 people max watch each one of these. So that's like, the odds of that are very slim. It's just my bad luck though. It'd be just my luck. So that would suck. That's kind of why I hate talking about things that are real life things, personal to me, because it's like just the 0.0001% chance that it occurs, I would have to just punch myself and kick myself and be like, this was so avoidable. But yeah, I think they just kind of know. It's like, mate, honestly, mate, you could show up for 1 day a week here or 5 days a week here. The business ain't going to go up or down. You're doing fuck all here, mate. You're a shadow. Like the first few days I work in places, I am just sort of like part of, I'm just an ornament. I'm just there on the shelf doing fuck all. And I hate the first few days of work. The first few days of work is it's just standing around like a lost puppy, wanting to ask, did I need to, but just kind of standing there quietly, just like, always just doing this. Just kind of jumping forward about to say, people walking past, just feeling like, I'm just standing here. Oh God, it's can you mind me that? And then once you break through that period, and it's like, okay, thank God, finally, when I come in, I know I just walk to here, I do this, I walk back, I do that, and it's just like, oh my God, it makes it just so much better. But that's like that graining phase you got to get through, the graining phase. That's why, like, when I get back to London, I don't want to get a new job. I don't want to go through that again, especially because I know my track record now. I'll probably just leave it within a month. I just want to keep the 2 I have and try and just do them consistently, and just try and get as many shifts as I can for them. And if that doesn't work, I'll have to get a new job, won't I? But let's just hope it does. God, I somehow have been hitting exactly 15 minutes on all of these recently. I guess I just have 15. I guess I just have 5 minutes less of talking in me when I'm here. But I usually get to about 20, which feels a little bit more respectable to me. But I think 15 is my floor. I know sometimes I think the shortest one I did of these 8 or 9. and it was like, oh, I can't miss a day. I got to squeeze this in before I go take a shit and then leave or something. So I did that before because I forgot. It's just sometimes you do shit ones and it's like just because you're trying to fit in a streak and it feels like, oh, that's crap. You should, quantity over quality. No, quality over quantity. That's the one. But I think there is times in life and in projects and in certain things where quantity equals quantity equals quality and can trump quality in some aspects. I think that there is a thing to be said for that. Sometimes, most of the time I think quality, yeah, you should go for quality. But I think this type of thing, what we're doing, this is a quantity thing with sprinkles of quality. Occasionally, I don't promise it. I never promise it, actually. But it's the same with my Duolingo thing I'm trying to do when I've been trying to learn French. I'm at a point now when I'm at 50 days, 50 day streak. I'm kind of just like, I'm in a bad point right now with actually doing lessons efficiently. And I'm in that stage. I'm just doing like one lesson a day at like 11:30, just about to keep my streak. And it's like, I need to actually do more on top of that than just the bare minimum of keeping my streak. But, for now, we're just in that phase where we're just ducking and diving. We're just taking hits and we're just like, get through this phase. And then we can actually build a little bit more. But I'm getting a little bit better. I can say the basics, the oui, non, the merci, the s'il vous plaît, the bonjour, the ça va bien et à toi, the basic things you need for simple conversation, the désolé, the je suis de Londres, the je joue au foot, irrelevant shit, but we're getting there slowly. So for now, all I have that is useful to me is je ne parle pas français, and I live by that, and that'll make you survive, boy. Those 5 words, boy, they'll make you survive right here, boy. You have those 5 words, boy, you can be a fucking champion, boy. You can fucking be king of the fucking world, boy. Chuck you in the lions, den, boy. Je ne parle pas français, boom. You're fucking living, boy. You're walking out of there scot-free. 17, 23, nearly 38, and that was 95. That was 95. Brilliant. Pod a day, that was 95. See you in 96.
Here with the kids, and they had like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. He was like,